back to my YouTube channel, #MovieBay. I am MovieBay, and in this video, I'm going to be recapping and reviewing episodes 5 and 6 of the sex lives of college girls. But before we get into it though, if you are new here, hello, welcome. Here on MovieBay, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary to movies and television. And if that's the type of content that you like, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And along the way, if you enjoy my commentary, hit that thumbs up button as well. It puts me in the YouTube algorithm, and that way more people can discover my hidden gem of a YouTube channel. All right, let's go ahead and get into these storylines. Well, actually, first and foremost, I kind of want to say that episode 5 had the funniest dialogue by far, like season 1 and season 2. I genuinely laughed a few times during the show. And it's funny because it's supposed to be a comedic show, but I don't really laugh that much. But in episode 5, especially towards the beginning, I was chuckling. All right, here we go. Whitney. Now, y'all know that Kanan broke up with Whitney last episode. And if you are just now tuning in, go back and watch that one because I kind of ranted. You're going to learn a lot about MovieBay, okay? But But Whitney says she is over Kanan and that she is excited to date herself. Whitney's dilemma for this episode is that her TA gets her mixed up with another black girl, the only other black girl in her biochem class. Now, Whitney corrects the TA, and then he breaks down saying how he's not racist. So Whitney confides in the other black students about her situation with the TA. And I want to say this. I feel like even though the conversation how black people should not feel sorry for white guilt, I feel like that conversation was really forced. You know how like a writer really wants to say something, so they throw it in there, but it kind of doesn't go anywhere? It was kind of like that. And I know this is a sitcom, it's a 30-minute show, but I really feel like that issue wasn't developed enough. It wasn't as serious as it should have been. You know, I don't know. It was something about that situation in particular that was just really lackluster for me, especially with what could have been deep conversation. So at that party, the girls that Whitney is confiding in, they belong to the KJ house, and they invite Kanan to the party. And even though Whitney says she's over him, she decides to leave before he gets there. So Bella for this episode, Bella meets Eric's new date named Dana, and Dana is also a writer on the Cotulin, and she's not funny at all. And it's so funny because Bella's roommates say that Dana reminds them of Bella, and I was like, exactly, not funny. Is it weird that the person on the show who's supposed to be the comedian is not funny? Like Lila cracks me up way more than Bella does. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, Bella tries to make Eric jealous by force dating a frat boy, and she is also wearing light-colored contacts. Now, I really, really wished they had focused on that way more. Maybe this show needs to be longer so they can dive into the important, to me, substance-filled topics, like how women of color, the desirability is to be light-skinned with light eyes and dark hair, or sometimes light hair, depending on the culture. And I really wish they had dove into that, but instead they just go right into having sex in the bathroom. And like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, every serious conversation is then overshadowed by the sex lives of college girls. And I understand that's like the theme of the show or whatever, being liberated and XYZ, but like, can we have these deep conversations too? So eventually, after Bella and Eric make up or hook up, they decide that they're going to be in a relationship now. Kimberly for this episode is taking hormone shots so she can get ready to donate her eggs. Layton helps her with that, takes her to the doctor as well. And when Layton goes to a math competition or to a math meeting, Layton is feeling very weak and she gets locked out of her dorm room. So Jackson lets her in and he takes care of her. Now, Layton for this episode. Layton confesses that her ideal girl is someone who is 5'6", blonde hair, from a rich family, and everybody's like, yeah, bitch, that's you. I mean, but like, let's be honest, if you don't want to date yourself, you're a really shitty person. Me, I would date the fuck out of me because I'm that bitch. I like me, like I love me. So if you would not date yourself, you really need to reevaluate your fucking self. Anyhow, so then Leighton runs into, or almost gets ran over by, her dream girl. And that is the end of episode 5. Before we get into episode 6, I want y'all to drop down and hit the subscribe button if you are enjoying my commentary so far. Hit a thumbs up to get more videos just like this, and leave a comment down below. Do y'all understand what I'm saying when I say that every serious conversation is overshadowed by sex? Do you agree? Disagree? Should they change it? Am I tripping? Leave a comment. Let me know. All right, let's get into episode 6. All right, so for episode 6, Kimberly's manager at her job, Sips, gets fired, which leaves an open position for manager. Now, I personally thought that, I was like, oh, all 3 of them are going to be competing for the managerial position. Didn't go that way. So Kimberly suggests that Lila should be the manager. So Lila kind of flips out when she says this, and then she later comes back and admits that she is nervous for interviews like every other person in America. Well, shit, in life. So Kim offers to hold a mock interview for Lila, and Lila eventually gets the job, making her the new manager at Sips. Now, we all know that last episode, Kim had her procedure and Jackson helped nurse her back to health. Well, Kim has come to the conclusion that Jackson has med-zoned her. So they come up with this terminology, and that's basically when someone sees you at your lowest point, and they basically treat you like a baby bird that's wounded, okay? So at the party this episode, Kimberly makes it very clear to Jackson that he needs to stop showing her pity and that she is down for whatever. And they go back to his room and they hook up. Of course, Kimberly, for some not odd, but kind of odd, ironically fashion, ugly duckling fashion, she gets all the high boys. TV rise, I feel like, whoa, we root for the average girl. But at the same time, she pulling these dudes that are really, no cap, really out of her league. Okay, so who are we going to now? Let's go ahead and go to Leighton. So we know that Leighton has a crush on this girl that she met at the end of episode 5. So she decides to go to Willow, the other gay girl on campus that's in our main cast or supporting cast, and she tries to get information about who this girl is. We come to find out that her name is Tatum, and oh my God, I love that name. I love unisex names, y'all. And Tatum is a sophomore, and she is on the tennis team. Now, when Leighton tries to converse with Tatum, Tatum kind of like ignores Leighton, and she calls Leighton out for fronting, capping like she didn't want to hang out with the general education kids. Because y'all know Tatum is literally how Leighton was when she first got to Exits. So later on at the party, they meet again, and Leighton kind of turns back into her regular snobby self, and she talks down on Tatum's last season Prada shoes, honey. Okay, if you know, drop it down in the comments. They chop it up, and then they exchange numbers. So the moment they exchanged numbers, the way that Tatum did it, I was like, Tatum's definitely gay. And then I also thought that hopefully Leighton doesn't revert back to her stuck-up snobby self just to impress this Tatum girl, okay? But that would be a good dilemma for, I don't know, maybe the end of season 2. Like, are the girls going to remain friends? Who knows? Type thing. So when Whitney had the whole biochem episode or whatever, she ran into this guy, her and Bella ran into this guy who was a real butthole to them, treated them like, girls can't do hard science because sexism, right? So Whitney has a group project for this episode with Bella, who never showed up to any of the meetings, and that butthole guy. I really don't even know his name, y'all. If y'all know his name, help me out, okay? So he wants to work alone, but Whitney insists on helping him with the group project because it's a freaking group project. But at the study session, Whitney spills coffee all over his report. So she ends up staying, and then also ends up catching a mistake that he made on the report. He thanks her, he had to pull his teeth to thank her, but he does so eventually. And as suspected, Whitney starts crushing on him. Y'all know I'm about to go off. I just rubbed my face. So here we go. Whitney dates the white coach. He cheats on her. Whitney dates the black student who's more her type, speed, etc. He's a fuckboy. So Whitney goes back to the white people who still treat her like shit initially. So it's like, first off, Whitney, remember when you said that you are excited to date yourself? I wish you would have kept that same energy. Second, why do we keep pairing our African-American lead with these white dudes? And I don't want to sound racist, prejudiced. I promise you I'm not. But it's like, why? Okay, progressive, yeah, yay. But why? All right, so Bella for this episode is the student liaison for comedian and night host Dan O'Connell. Now, y'all help me out. Is he a real comedian or not? I don't know this guy. But anyways, Bella at first is doing way too much to try to impress O'Connell, but she eventually becomes herself and she asks for an unpaid internship. And he's like, yeah, submit your resume. We see where it could go, da-da-da. But he was kind of cool about it. So later at a party, Bella's talking to Eric about, how she's been the student liaison and she asked for her internship. And Eric takes it upon himself to see what connects he could make with O'Connell. So he takes him a beer, they chop it up, and they exchange phone numbers. Now, Bella just got submit your resume. O'Connell and Eric got direct contact. You see what's happening here? So O'Connell kind of is just speaking generally. He was like, if you could submit a packet with this amount of this and that amount of that and da-da-da, then we could talk. And Bella's like, you know what? I don't have any of that, but I can work on it. And Eric is like, I actually have all of that. I could submit it tonight type shit. So let's talk about this real quick before we get into the rest of Bella's storyline. Very unfortunate. I feel like on one hand, Eric is out of line for so blatantly jumping the gun. But at the same time, like he said, this is my dream too. I want to network and make connections too. I feel like it was just in a very competitive way. I just feel like it was real competitive versus organic. After, being down on herself, Bella confides in Layton, and Layton kind of gives her this advice and says, you are amazing, and you just got to make sure that O'Connell remembers you. So Bella takes that advice and applies it in Bella language and sleeps with O'Connell. Mind you, she has a boyfriend now. His name is Eric. Second off, she's using her feminine ways to get ahead in the business. Third off, we know Bella is our hypersexual character and she always resorts back to sex. But I feel like this is a bad move for Bella because after O'Connell sleep with you, he's not going to give you a job, sis. That's the exact opposite of what he's going to give you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that wasn't the right move to do that. If anything, maybe flirt, but like give it up. You think you're gonna get a writing spot because you gave it up? Unless her sex is bomb, I don't know. But that was definitely the wrong move for Bella. That was definitely the wrong move for Bella. Well, that concludes my recap review for episodes 5 and 6 of The Sex Lives of College Girls. If y'all enjoyed my commentary, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that thumbs up button as well. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. It's a date.